Hello everybody, welcome back to MTG Dungeon, here with guest commentator Liam.
How's it going?
We are in round 4, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, round 4 is right there on the nice little tablet there.
And I know this because I immediately played against Blue-White after Mike did. So he got to play against the same 75 cards twice in a row.
Oh.
And yeah.
And we have Blue-White Control versus Jund.
Yep. And one of the things that Mike and I were debating when we were designing this Jund list was, how are we going to beat Control? If we run it against like Blue-White or Jeskai, what do we do to beat them? Like, should we just play like chokes in our sideboard and hope to get it that way?
Seems
And in the end, we were just like, you know what? If we lose to Control, that's fine. So we just didn't sideboard anything special, no Thrun or anything like that, because Terminus is a card, and so is Settle the Wreckage. So it's like Thrun doesn't really just give you a free win, and then it ends up just being a mediocre 4/4 that has Regenerate on it. And at the end of the day, we were just like, we're going to play more towards an aggro meta, and it ended up paying off, but we sacrificed some of our cards in this match.
Well, and I mean, Jund's very good at just playing the value game anyway.
Yep. This is a classic Jace versus Bloodbraid Elf matchup.
Yeah.
But Jund has a hard time beating a card like Search for Azcanta if that ever flips, especially considering we weren't playing full Enrage in our sideboard.
Oof.
Like we accepted that if they flip a Search, we're gonna lose to that, and it's hard to play a very aggressive game plan in this matchup with Jund, considering you're both just value engines that are trying to grind into each other until somebody breaks down.
Yep. So it looks like the Blue-Eye Control player won the die roll and will be going first. I'm guessing you feel that's a very big determining factor as well.
Not so much in this game, because typically what you're going to see in these Jund vs control decks, blue-based strategies, is at some point they're both going to have no cards in hand, and the board's going to be no real permanence whatsoever, and maybe some man lands, and then we just start see who top decks some better things, and a lot of the little decisions you make up to that point matter a lot, but being on the play, being on the draw, it matters when you're trying to Thoughtseize ancestral visions out of your opponent's hand.
Okay.
But at least in this game one, it's going to be a grindy one.
Yep. So it looks like we have a turn 1 Celestial Colonnade from the Blue-White player and a turn 1 Treetop Village from the
Treetop Village. Yep. Playing 3 Raging Ravine, 1 Treetop Village. There's that Search for Azcanta. Didn't get Thoughtseized, and this feels bad immediately. So we had this sort of concession to this card, and unless Mike has Abrupt Decay right here, right now, or the next couple turns, then Search is just going to win the game over time.
Yeah,
just value him out. But
Search is as a control player, Search is definitely one of my favorite new cards.
As a control player, Search is one of my new favorite cards as well. But Jund him, Timmy.
Mobile Suit Jundum.
Well, hey, when I play in a tournament, I'm playing Thoughtseize or, I'm playing a combo deck.
Looks like he did have the Abrupt Decay off the bat, so...
Yep, and we were playing 2 of those in the main board, just as a good catch-all, and it does hit Search, and it's happened to be good.
So are those going to get replaced with Assassin's Trophy?
Yeah. Goodbye to the 2 Abrupt Decays, the Dreadbore, and then we'll cut another fluff spell that we're just sort of using as filler. Although it is good to diversify your removal spells in the face of a deck like Humans that's playing just Meddling Mage. So that's why another reason why we had a lot of random 1-ofs in our main deck going into this tournament, because we knew people were going to be playing Humans in our meta. So
makes sense.
You want those funky 1-ofs.
Yep, so Scavenging Ooze looks like he's going to opt in response. Scavenging Ooze is going to resolve.
And you play Scavenging Ooze out early in this matchup. Typically, Ooze is the last card that hits play with Jund, because you want to get the most value out of it in the late game.
In this one, you just want to take away the graveyard for Snapcasters, I assume.
In this one, that's good, but really, Scooze isn't going to do a whole lot in the long run against a deck like this, because there's not going to be a lot of cards in the graveyard for you to actually eat creature-wise. Your stuff's going to get pathed, it's going to get hit by Terminus. You play Scooze to have power in play that hopefully they use a removal spell on, so your Goyfs and Confidants live.
So it looks like he drew, the Blue-White Miracles player drew a Terminus and decided not to cast it. I assume he's going to, the only reason is because he's going to cast a Jace this turn.
And Jace is just so good against Jund. Mike does have a Bloodbraid Elf in hand, I believe, but he's choosing to pass.
Passing the turn. I feel like if you were just going to pass the turn, you should have just done the Terminus.
So if you Jace bounce, then Bloodbraid Elf or Lightning Bolt kills your Jace immediately and you get no value. But the longer that Jace stays in your hand, the more likely it is to get ripped out by a hand attrition spell. Although with the negate in his hand as well, it's probably better at this point just to hold on until you have a better opportunity to play out Jace.
What about saying the Terminus because he drew it and decided not to play it, not to miracle it? That's where I was.
That is interesting, yeah. Huh. I guess he doesn't value hitting one Scooz with Terminus, but for 1 mana.
Yeah. So looks like Scooz come over for 2, no blocks. Looks like a Bob is coming down. Good old Dark Confidant.
Going into combat before he makes any play whatsoever to just play around cryptic commands at this point in the game.
Also, I feel Terminus as well. If you played a Bob and then swung and they Terminus you, then you just got extra value.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't want to play into like cryptic counterbalance, and then you're like, okay, I got time locked, cool.
Yeah.
Not activating the man lands yet at this point either.
Which, I mean, since it's not a Raging Ravine, I think it's fine. I mean, Raging Ravine is also one of the cards that will just take over the game if they don't have an answer. Because eventually it will be bigger than, like, after one attack, it's the same power toughness as a Colonnade. After that, it's just bigger.
In GP Vancouver, I got a Raging Ravine to trade with a Grizzlebrand. True story. It was a wild, wacky, and weird game, I'll tell you what. Very professional.
Oh, no, I try. I try so much.
But, another reason not to activate any of the manlands right now is because that Field of Ruins really keeping it in check. So, it's like, moving forward, we might end up playing more manlands in this Jund deck, this build, just as a concession to cards like, Field of Ruin being super, super good against them. But,
So, looks like fetching... Are we shocking? I don't think there's a reason to shock.
I believe this is still at the end step.
It is still at the end step because the island is still tapped from the opt at end step.
Are we going to see a snap opt or something here of that nature? I doubt that.
I think he wanted he's going to Field of Ruin the manland, I assume.
I mean, there's no reason not to do that, I suppose, but it's kind of premature. Usually, you want to wait for them to activate that manland to try to get some mana out of them.
Yeah.
But, if you're trying to mana fix or thin your deck, that's certainly fine.
I think he's trying to thin his deck at this point.
I don't know. His hand's pretty stacked. It's going to expend a path on that Dark Confidant, likely.
I would, see. I was like...
just keep searching.
Right, it's just like, don't bother presenting, just search. And it's fine. Alright.
Okay, so he's looking to... Another reason to kill the Treetop Village now is to clear the path for Jace. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if he had a 5th land, I think he would just slam Jace because he has a path up for...
You could Jace Brainstorm, hope to hit the land, but then your Jace is staying at 3 loyalty.
And I think you want him to go up to 5. Yeah. And then have the path up for if you guys have like a Bloodbraid Elf.
Yeah, exactly.
And hope they don't blow your Bloodbraid into a Lightning Bolt.
Still it's too early for Jace to take over the game, but he certainly could have an impact. And missing these land drops are kind of making that Terminus in his hand a dead card. Which, you want to be consistently hitting lands in blue-white until you hit about 6 lands, and then you can kind of take them or leave them.
Yeah.
So he's eating that path to exile on end step.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a good call.
Yeah, I'd say just take away the Snapcaster. Oh, so there's a good old BBE.
I believe he had 2 green available, and he only tapped 1, leaving 1 open, so he couldn't Snapcaster Mage flashback the path in response.
It also seems like a very good play.
Yep, this is kind of just what you do with Scooz in this matchup is just, swing in occasionally, and then...
So looks like he's leaving a green up.
Use it to apply pressure into that. He's leaving up green and red because he's Lightning Bolt in hand and Scattering using play. So into Thoughtseize.
Into Thoughtseize, that's probably the best one.
It's just going to bait out the negate here, likely. There might be some debate about whether or not Bloodbraid Elf is in play at this point or something. I don't know.
I think the question is...
did he maybe not pass priority before he started cascading?
I think, if I remember correctly, the question was because Jund casts Bloodbraid and his opponent says, okay, resolves. And then so his opponent thought because he said, okay, resolves, that he would miss the Cascade trigger, and it's like, that's not how that works.
No.
I believe the judge is clarifying that's not how this. It's not an ETB effect. It's a cast effect. You can't say
when you say cast Bloodbraid Elf.
Yes.
Your opponent can't just say that resolves and then your Bloodbraid Elf
because
just
it has. Yes, it has to because the Cascade will resolve first.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's not like he was trying to be sneaky or anything. There's probably just a debate on how that interaction works.
Which I mean,
unless Mike was specifically like. Cast Bloodbraid Elf, hold priority Cascade.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So it looks like a good old path.
Yep, getting the last basic land out of the deck, 2 swamps, 2 forests. So all those paths from this point on are just legit.
So I'm guessing no mountains because Blood Moon.
Yeah, no mountains because you don't want to ever we're not really fetching for a mountain to cast Lightning Bolt, Yeah, that's a third path, but he's searching through his deck anyway. Mike knows there's no lands. He's probably just having some fun there.
Yeah. Double checking. You never know.
Where did this mountain come from? Judge, I think you need to deck tech me right now. I deserve to lose this game, please.
All right, and a Mind Sculptor coming down.
Yeah, this was the opportunity he was waiting for, is to windmill slam this.
So, I think the debate now is, does he Brainstorm or does he Fate Steal?
You're Fate Sealing, but your question is whether or not you Fate Seal yourself or your opponent. And considering he's missing lands, Fate Sealing himself is definitely the better play. But a second Bloodbraid Elf in the hand for Mike. So that explains why he played out the other Bloodbraid Elf rather aggressively.
Yeah.
You typically don't play Bloodbraid Elf against an empty board because you risk the chance of cascading into a removal spell and then having nothing to cast it on and not getting your true value. So just cast another Bloodbraid Elf.
Right.
Yeah, he might have waited on using the Lightning Bolt to see whether or not he cascades into a Maelstrom Pulse here, and then you get to save the bolt.
That's fair.
I guess he's playing his probably his thought process is he's just going to attack Jace anyway.
Yeah.
With the Bloodbraid Elf. So something like that may not be necessarily intuitive when you already have that line of play chosen. So we'll see if it gets punished.
Into an Abrupt Decay. All right, so I'm pretty sure he chooses not to cast it. So yeah, then we'll just go to the
pretty
bottom.
soon we're just going to cascade into Assassin's Trophy and be like, no target on board, just blow up one of your lands. Like, why not?
All right, so fifth land for blue-white finally.
Yep, 6 lands is what he needs to activate Celestial Colonnade, which is
he also does have a Terminus in hand at 6 land. If he gets that to the point as well. So it's like Bloodbraid's coming across.
Holding on to that negate.
No, he used the negate for the Thoughtseize.
Oh, they did? Okay.
He did, yes.
And another Scooze. Not committing Tarmogoyf yet. Just I've got 5 power. This is kind of what you have to do. Just I have 5 power in play until you deal with this 5 power. I'm not going to bother committing any more to the board. So.
Is that all right? I'm going to start.
Hardcast Terminus.
Yeah, so Terminus isn't in the graveyard yet, so he's like, all right, I'm going to eat a path.
As many paths as possible.
I think that's what he's doing.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, at least you guys won't mill out first, right?
It's very, very tight play there.
Yeah.
And now that late game.
Thoughtseize. One card left in hand, and there's additional Terminus. All right, So 12-14. All right. So both of these players just slogging it out.
Plays out a Goyf. That Goyf is going to be at 5 power at this point in the game. Instant sorcery, land creature, and planeswalker.
Enchantment.
Search. Yeah. Woo! That's a big boy.
Big boy Goyf. BBG.
Sometimes you have to be tricky and smart at the game. Other times you play really big Tarmogoyfs and you just turn sideways a couple times and your opponent's like, yeah, I guess I was done. Okay. Certainly, you can't reduce this matchup to just that.
No, but it looks like John is sitting on 2 Fatal Pushes in hand right now.
Looking not very good in this matchup. It does free kill a Celestial Colonnade, but other than that, it does a whole lot of nothing. So eventually...
So it looks like his opponent drew a land.
Yeah. As you can see, Mike's swamp there is a next level of foiling. In fact, it's not a grapple error. No, I guess it is. Okay. Now that Blood Crypt is 2 next levels of foil, being an expedition and glitching out the camera.
Alright, so it looks like he's going to Ghost Quarter since he knows his opponent doesn't have any more basic land.
Yep. Just shuffles anyway.
Oh, I was like, what? Oh, he put the land into exile. It's now it's his graveyard.
You might question why Mike is shuffling here, and it's because he's told me on many occasions he just really enjoys shuffling. He just, whenever you have an opportunity to shuffle, look, his opponent's doing it too.
Right.
So there's nothing.
His opponent's trying to unshuffle Mike shuffling.
Oh, that's meta shuffling. I don't know if we're ready to go that deep.
That's another Goyf.
He's not going to play that out.
I don't think there's a need to. I mean, your opponent's on a 3-turn clock. So 3 for 5. Down to 7.
Yep, down to 7. There's no point in playing out that Goyf to get blown out by just a Terminus.
A Terminus, yeah.
This is what you do. You keep 5 power in play, and you keep swinging.
Yeah, I'm going to say, if for some reason...
Oh, they do have the Goyf at 5/6, so he should be dead this turn if they were doing that math incorrectly.
I don't think there's no... Snapcat. Alright. I don't think there's a creature in either of the bins.
Has everything been pathed?
Yes. Pathed or Terminus. Okay. So I think that's where we missed.
Okay. So I was right for the wrong reason, but still technically correct, which is like the best kind of correct, so,
Someone's about to get pushed out of this chair.
And it's definitely not me.
So it looks like Snapcaster, I believe, targeting ops seems like the only...
Which is, where Mike's heads-up play of just eating those Path to Exiles paid off here. Now he's got a chump block. He can't just free kill the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
So Mike's foresight really paying off. It's a high-level magic right here.
I don't know if we haven't moved to blocks yet either. Mike still does have the opportunity to Fatal Push the Snapcaster before blocks.
Which is going to likely happen because then Goyf is actually 6 power, and then he's not only dead to Lightning Bolt, but he's dead to Kolaghan's Command as well. So they're probably asking about whether or not blockers have been declared yet, which is likely no, because I think both of them are kind of fast playing and shortcutting a little bit.
A little bit, and when you're at a bigger REL competitive tournament, you can't do that. You do have to go through the proper steps, or else things get missed, or there is some confusion.
Yeah. So
it looks like Mike just let him block, which I think is fine because you just drop a Liliana and make him discard the card that he.
Yeah, I suppose. I kind of like pushing there just to get the damage through, and then he's dead Decay Command or Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
And you're gonna discard that push. Versus
if he didn't, then he'd be forced to discard the Goyf.
Yeah, so
I think
I value getting the damage through a little bit more, but this is certainly not a wrong play. So he's definitely going to discard push here if he discards anything.
Yeah. Because your opponent finding additional land doesn't do anything. It buys him another turn, so they just chump block the Goyf.
If he's scried to the top, you definitely plus. Yeah, just cast the Snapcaster.
Cast Snapcaster. Okay. So now Mike has a choice of he can push it and discard the Goyf.
So he auto discard the push, but he didn't allow his opponent to retain priority and discards the Goyf. Yes. I do not like that at all. I think you just let it happen and then let the Liliana take 2. It's like whatever. You get an edict.
The thing is that you're pretty much at this point you're forcing your opponent to have to get a land.
Well, so Liliana is dead to activate
to the Colonnade.
Yeah, Colonnade.
That's Teferi.
Wrath of God and Teferi making that second Goyf really would have been very, very good right here. So we'll see.
The thing is that if he casts Teferi and tucks Goyf, he still deal with the Lily.
Yes.
Which is going to discard the Wrath of God. Like, granted, Teferi will draw him cards, but.
Yeah, but having that other Goyf in hand.
Ooh, is that a Dreadbore?
Yeah, we were playing a Dreadbore, so if that's a Dreadbore,
that's a great top draw, though. So it's like, alright, discard.
Boop.
So we're in the situation, both on top draw.
That's an incorrect amount of mana to pay for activating that. Gets corrected immediately.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Life. If only life was that simple.
Right? Oh.
That's a good, clean answer.
Tarmogoyf.
Which, that is a second Tarmogoyf, I believe.
Third.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, third, because
yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah, and then so he's drawing one additional one as well.
Unless he tucked wrong, there should be another Goyf coming in.
I believe.
Got Logic nodded. Now he's gonna fetch for land, activate, and swing at the Lily. They're shortcutting a little bit here.
Yep. I mean, when at this kind of point, it's fine.
So another Goyf that you knew about.
Yes.
No.
And his opponent being at 6 is definitely troublesome because I believe Goyf is now a 6 power.
Yep. So unless he double checks that Goyf power, attacking with Colonnade does kill him. But 4 mana getting tapped. I think he has a Jace in his hand. So Jace bounce Goyf.
I think they're double checking the power right now.
Yeah. If he's going to activate Colonnade and doesn't double check the power, then he is dead.
So apparently it is a 5/6 still.
Instant sorcery, land creature, planeswalker, and
No, there we go. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, he's choosing to cast Jace.
Yep.
Bounce Goyf.
Yep.
But Jace versus Lily. I like Lily more.
I think in this matchup I do as well. Land for turn, Tarmogoyf.
Plus.
Say uptick Lily.
Still dead next turn though. Lily's going to die to that. That Colonnade.
I mean.
So you bounce Goyf, kill Lily with Colonnade.
Yeah. The blue-white player still isn't in a great position.
It feels like he's turning the corner though.
It's going to depend on his top draws. Land is not going to do it.
Yeah. It's gotta respect the John Avon lands though. I'm a big fan. John Avon basics.
Yeah, it's unsummon, so it's alright. So, as a John player, do you fetch or do you not?
There's no point in fetching really.
Wow.
He might just be holding the fetch land. Oh, that's the 4th Goyf?
No, it's a bolt.
Wait, hold up. I got distracted.
Yes, Liam.
I got distracted by talking about fetch lands. Whatever.
We know you guys play 6 Goyfs on the main board. It's fine.
Yeah, who wouldn't? Obviously.
Ooh.
Play some Grim.
So he's got 1 blocker. So what? Raging Ravine's a really good top draw. So yeah.
Raven, just shortcuts, doesn't even pay the mana. We know what's happening.
And the land. All right, Jund gets it in. Jund gets a first game. So sideboarding wise, since you have you're one of the deck designers of this Jund list, what do you bring in?
Co-designer. You bring in Nihil Spellbomb first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
You can cut the lightning bolts. You can cut Fatal Push. You can cut Maelstrom Pulse, and then. We had Spellbomb, and then Collective Brutality in the board, which is good. You kind of just want to bring in all the threats you have, so we had 2 Kalitas and an Olivia Valderin. That's good just to bring in. Kitchen Finks is good to bring in just because it's just a body. I mean, it is going to get Path, it is going to get Terminus, but it has 3 power and it turns sideways, so that's still
it also does something with ETBs. If you gain 2 life and they Terminus, alright, I still got something out of it.
Yep. Other than that, there's not I mentioned earlier we were kind of making a concession. Oh, we had Tyrant's Tracker too, which we bring in. But I mentioned earlier we're kind of making a concession to not dedicating real sideboard hate for control because the control decks are capable of dealing with some of the traditional sideboard hate for them. So beyond choke, there's no real good sideboard card this matchup.
I feel like Blue-White Control brings in Baneslayers.
Yep.
Baneslayer, Lyra.
Yep. Definitely.
Settle, Spellquellers, and maybe Rest in Peace?
You bring in a Rest in Peace if you want to just never have to think about Tarmogoyf ever again. It makes Liliana the Last Hope worse, which he doesn't know that we are playing at this point. And then it makes Kolaghan's Command worse, which you have to assume that we're playing, but he didn't see.
Right. Well,
it depends on how much you have to cut.
Right.
But you are deading your Snapcast images and your Searches for His Kanta.
Right.
Search for His Kanta is so instrumental in this matchup, I can't imagine that you want to remove that card from being as powerful as it can be.
Yeah. Wow, he plays 2 main board Censors.
Yep.
Yep.
Right on.
It's a little surprising. I think you can probably cut, the soft, Censor and Mana Leak.
Yeah, this is a matchup where you kind of cut some of your counter spells. You want to play more towards the board rather than the stack, because a lot of this is gonna come down to what's on board.
Yeah, completely understandable.
Mike just bringing in some of his threats here. That's about it. That Nihil Spellbomb is the only real the most meaningful interaction we have in our board for our control deck. Just getting rid of Snapcaster Mage targets, but
also making the Goyf bigger.
Yep, add an artifact to that graveyard. But really, the goal is to just have tight play, smart play, to get 2-for-1s as much as possible, and hopefully just draw a lot of Bloodbraid Elves. When all else fails, just hopefully just draw a lot of Bloodbraid Elves. Also, like if a hand has like Thoughtseized Liliana, then you're pretty keen to keep that, because you can win these matchups just based off the hand attrition that Liliana provides.
I mean, because your guys' deck is based around just being able to value Liliana as well.
Yep, and in my matchup with blue-white, he missed a land drop, and then I played a Liliana, and that really sealed the deal. Like it was so backbreaking.
Well, especially if they missed a turn 3 land drop and you drop a Lily, like I'm taking extra resources from you.
Yeah, he got tempoed like super hard and couldn't recover from that. And it had nothing to do with how he's playing. He just happened to miss a land drop, and I was more than happy to take advantage of that. So it's pretty brutal when it happens. Jund is a deck that wants to see every deck wants to see its opponent mulligan. But when you're playing Thoughtseize and
when you're playing hand disruption, especially, you're like, oh, you go down to 6? Sweet, this makes this card way better.
And you're like looking at the Thoughtseize of your hand, you're like, technically you just went down to 5.
Double Lily, triple Lily, full quad Lily.
4 Lilies! Wow. And 1 land. No, 2 land.
2 land.
That's a keep.
Mike disagrees, and I agree with Mike's disagreement.
Absolutely. That's absolutely a joke.
Oh my goodness.
Could you be Liliana? How about Liliana? Multiple Liliana hands kind of suck because you just end up discarding lilies to lilies, and then you're like, oh, well, there's no real point in keeping this hand.
You're getting rid of a dead card, I guess.
Well, a lily in the field is worth 2 lilies in the hands.
A lily in the field is worth 2 in the bush. What?
A lily in the bird. But yeah, both players taking a mulligan. Yeah. Still favors Jund.
Yeah.
Still favors Jund.
Because you guys play how many Thoughtseize, how many Inquisition?
We were playing 2 Thoughtseize, 1 Collective Brutality, 3 Inquisition in the main board, and a Brutality in the sideboard. So those hand disruption spells only get better when you mulligan, and Liliana the Veil gets better and better the lower your opponent's hand is.
Yes.
Maelstrom Paul's Bolt, Confidant, Brutality, land, I believe.
I think that's pretty
keepable.
Good. That's a very keepable hand.
He's flipping his deck around the right way. Looks like blue white's got
Scry.
land,
Lily on top. I'm pretty sure you keep that.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's something to be said about putting it to the bottom if you just really want to make that next land drop. But this game's going to go on for a while. You have plenty of opportunities to hit your land. So that's such an impactful card that you just got to keep it. So if I just play a Blood Crypt tap. No, that's not a Blood Crypt. It's just a
Bloodstained Mire.
Yeah.
Well, choosing not to fetch double Flooded Strand. I remember back in my day when we played Modern, it was called Extended, that whoever cracked the land first lost.
Back when Standard was called Type 2.
Because if you fetch the land, I would respond fetching my land and stifling your land. It's like blue land destruction. Go.
When your opponent has Aether Vial on 2, you choose to crack your fetch land, and Leonardo Arbiter comes in and laughs. It can happen. Sadness not happening in this matchup, but it
sadness on the stack. Sadness results.
Exactly. And gonna go for the Brutality. There's no point in escalating this. No permanence in play. You don't really care about the drain life.
So I want to see.
It's gonna get censored, probably.
I want to see the double fetch censor.
No, he's got censor and opt. So if you're just like, okay, take a card, I'm gonna opt. Just try to find a land, then that's different. But I imagine you're going to just censor, and then if you have to opt on your main phase to find a land, then that's acceptable. So.
That's exactly right. So,
and the question is, how much damage do I take here? Probably only 4.
Yep.
Shockland, Island.
Yep.
Feels strong. You do have to be cognizant of your life total against Jund, because you can just. He probably doesn't keep Lightning Bolt in, and you definitely don't keep Bolt in.
I think he did
against these matchups. Well, yeah, he's playing Jace, so you keep Bolt in.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know why you wouldn't, because
against Jessica you don't.
No, yeah.
But, you have to be cognizant of your opponent just going like Bloodbraid into Bolt, free you, and then you're like, oh, man, maybe my life total does matter. Playing another shock here.
Alright.
Just gonna go for Liliana, maybe?
Yep.
So Mike doesn't know that he's missing on the land drops. This to him, this is just censor because I can. So,
well, it's censor to keep information hidden.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, is crucial.
Yeah. So he's going to go for the not as good Liliana in the matchup just to see if it gets countered.
I think I would agree with that. Because I mean, if it sticks, you can -2, or you can just uptick and hope to get with the ultimate.
And the fact that Liliana sticks here is a good indicator that his Liliana is going to resolve. But that land drop.
I'll say that 4.
Oh, making a Jace, so he does get to play Liliana next turn if he chooses to.
And then so I think at this point does Jace. I mean, I assume Jace Fate Seals.
Yeah, he's making his land drop, so he doesn't need to brainstorm, so he might as well face.
Double Cryptic is always hard to face.
Double Cryptic and Jace, very, very strong against Jund, so Mike's really going to need to play around some things here. So you could Bolt and play a Bob, play Liliana and discard, or
I think
what's his last card? Does he have 2 Bobs?
No, I think he has. Oh, if he shows the same again. Fatal Push.
It's not foil, so it can't be push. Because his pushes are foil.
I'm pretty sure it's a Fatal Push.
If it's not shining, it ain't a push. That's all I'm saying.
Dismember then, maybe?
No, we don't play that card.
So Bolt, Lily, Bob.
I think it's 2 Bobs.
Well, you don't have the Judge Foil Bobs?
And watch this. So he down tick, nothing in graveyard. Just going for that value play. Who's got balls?
Lily? Oh, Lily. Oh my goodness.
Look at the balls on this guy. Well, there's nothing to tick up on. I might as well. What, are you going to lightning bolt it? So he's just using the most of his mana right now because he doesn't want to discard any cards in his hand, I suppose. And probably not very confident on that Dark Confidant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got Serum Visions, Cryptic, Jace. And I imagine you're just going to bounce Olivia and then leave up Cryptic Commands.
I mean, this seems like the best play. Or, yep.
Oop, there she goes.
Yeah, alright. So, but now Mike does say that he did miss a land drop.
And the reason to play Olivia there is to just bait out the Jace unsummoned, and hopefully you can end up lightning bolting it, but double Bob. Yeah. So I was right.
Okay.
Treetop Village without a land destruction over on the opponent's side. Very good.
Also, only 1 white on the opponent's side as well.
Yep. So you definitely got to bust a Cryptic Command against this Dark Confidant.
You could always just Jason summon as well.
That's true. But you're making the most of your mana this turn. You don't want to not be casting spells.
Yeah. So counter draw.
But he's got the other one, so just boop, there goes. Still gonna get unsummoned though. So he's waiting to hit another land drop so he can Serum Visions and leave up Cryptic. But Sapmaster Mage is probably gonna pass the turn after doing a good old bounce.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just gonna hope to top draw that land.
Mike's over there like, just unsummon it already so I can lightning bolt your guy.
Oh.
Rough.
Yeah, it's kind of a feel bad.
Putting that land, gotta put those on top.
Yep. And an additional Cryptic.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So he could actually 0 Jace here so he can get the land drop, put Terminus back on top, and have Cryptic up.
How much do you value Dark Confidant triggering? That's the real question.
He does have a second Serum Visions too, but that doesn't help him.
Well, letting Dark Confidant run wild is how you lose this game. If you let him get too many cards off Confidant.
Oh yeah, Confidant.
It's a sure path to loss. So there's really a lot of debate on how you're going to do this. So Serum Visions, he's going to draw that land, and then he's going to see 1 more card deeper.
Yep.
He already kept the Cryptic. Yep. He's an unknown card.
Let's lean.
At this point, you can brainstorm to keep Terminus on top, or you can choose to. You can get your Jace out of attack to bolt it, but he does have Treetop Village in play, so.
So I guess just unsummoning it and taking the Treetop hit.
If you unsummon, you lose your Jace to Treetop, so it's probably best at this point to brainstorm and put that Terminus back on top. And then you get it, but then the Confidant gets a trigger, so.
Yeah.
It's really, I do not envy the position that Blue-White is in right now. It's hard to tell where you're going. You know of one card in your opponent's hand, and that's the Olivia Voltaire.
If you uptick, though, you do take it out of the Bob and the Treetop Village range.
Yes, you do. Looks like he's debating on the unsummon.
Yep.
He's got a second Jace in hand, so it's not the end of the world if this Jace dies.
No,
but he does have to tap out.
Yeah, Jace, I think that's the issue. Yep, so it looks like unsummon on the Bob. Alright.
Probably fine with that from Jund. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna get, it's probably just gonna get bolted. Makes land drop. I like attacking with Treetop Village, see if he's gonna use any resources.
Well, Jace, because if he has the one white, like the path.
Yeah, if he does do something to try to save Hase, then you can commit to casting something else. But just replaying that.
I think with the Bob, he's also just baiting out a. Do you have a Logic Knot, a counter spell?
Yeah.
Because that's obviously if you did, you're not letting the Bob resolve.
So animate Treetop Village, swing in.
Yep.
Just let it die. It's kind of limited hand. You don't really want to. You could just Snapcaster Mage, let your Jace go to 1, flashback and opt, but you're probably saving that Snapcaster to get value off a path.
Yeah, or Cryptics. Snap Cryptic is one of the best feelings, kids.
So, no land, so you can't hardcast Terminus. You've got Cryptic, Jace, Snapcaster Mage. And then, what else is in there?
Jace Terminus, Snap Crypt.
Double Cryptic?
Double Cryptic.
Yeah. If you don't cast, so I think you just didn't cast anything in past, which is allowing more Confidant triggers to happen, so. Maybe he just doesn't want to, you can't just play out the Jace, unsummon, then let another Jace die at a Treetop Village.
Yeah.
So he's kind of priced into passing here.
Yep.
And Jund is importantly going to get some card advantage.
Except he missed the trigger.
So he forgets the Bob trigger, and there is a judge call on this. And it's up to if you miss your Dark Confidant trigger, your opponent chooses whether or not you get that trigger.
Yes.
So he would have taken 4 damage from this Bloodbraid Elf. So remember that.
I'm pretty sure he would have been fine with that.
Oh, absolutely. But
in the control matchup, it's like.
Yeah, so he's like, so blue-white control that is trying to grind me out. Can I get a free card from my Dark Confidant? No, you can't. Duh. Obviously not.
Ask me again in an hour. So do you just play the?
No, your opponent's board is empty. They've got mana open. They represent a Cryptic Command. You don't want to cast. You don't want to cast Bloodbraid Elf and have it get countered, and then your dude bounced, and then you just cry. So he's probably just going to recommit Olivia. Yeah, just like, hey, got 5 power in play. That's all I want. Can I keep it? Do I get it?
Because probably he does have Terminus. He'd have to hope for a second white off the top, which I don't think he wants to do. To just Terminus both creatures down.
Yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to do that, definitely. So
he would have gotten it though because he drew a Hollowbound.
Yeah, but you have to.
Oh yeah,
exactly. You have to play to the board at this point in the game,
yeah.
so it's certainly the right choice.
And a Colonnade.
Colonnade. I'm all right with.
Oh, all right. Well, sorry about that. We had a camera cut out real quick. So looks like Blue-white played their Celestial Colonnade.
Yeah, choosing not to shock into Terminus. So he's more Dark Confidant triggers away.
All right.
Remembers it this time.
So proud. So proud.
Yeah, so it's going to likely go to combat, attack for 2, see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Do you activate the man land now? It only gives you 3. Oh, if you activate the man land, then
you can activate the man land, and your opponent's just like, cool. In response to combat, have your creatures draw a card. Then you're like, I just wasted 3 mana.
Not really, because you still have the 3 open mana for Lily. That you can just stick the Lily then.
That's true, but you kind of just are priced into getting combat damage wherever you can.
Yeah.
And going for the 2 versus 5 is more conservative, which is how you kind of have to play this game.
So tempt the Lily.
Yep. Which
the second one in hand, so okay.
That's exactly the reason that you do that.
Okay. Yeah.
So you wanna counter this buddy boy?
I don't know why their opponent would not counter the Lily on the Veil.
Counter draw. Field of Ruin for that Treetop Village.
Yep.
Rip Treetop Village. Second Lily. Gonna get plus. He's probably gonna discard that land that he has in his hand. Your opponent is probably just gonna discard the shock land.
Yep.
Lands to the bin for everybody.
Woo.
And then ticks up the other Lily, passes the turn.
Now, Last Hope ults at 8, right?
I believe he forgot to tick up Liliana Last Hope on the previous turn.
I believe he did as well.
Yes. So Last Hope ults at 7.
At 7? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so it's like, do you pay 6 mana to Terminus a Bob, or?
You probably just, your opponent's tapped out, you definitely just animate and kill Liliana the
Veil. It seems like a good play as well.
Or you could play Jace, leave up Field of Ruin, which looks like what he's going to do.
Yeah. Because then upticking the Jace puts it out of, well, it doesn't put it out of Bolt Bob range.
I mean, Mike's got a card.
He's got like he's brainstorming. All right.
He's got an extra card that he's going to draw off the Bob. Then he's got a card that he can get back with the Liliana Last Hope.
Yeah, I say no path to exile.
Interesting that he chooses not to unsummon, considering his opponent has a manland in play and he's got the Field of Ruin, so he could just free unsummon.
Yeah.
And then guarantee that his Jace survives that Treetop Village. But I guess he's just trying to get those Terminuses out of his hand, find some new cards.
Well, I think he's trying to find a path.
And a good old Tiramagoyf.
Yeah. I think he was trying to find the path. Because he hasn't had one yet, so 3 cards down, still doesn't find it, which is unfortunate.
Yep.
I mean, like, doing it this way, though, like, if you do activate the man land, you can still Field of Ruin it, and Bob doesn't kill Jace. Bob just puts Jace down to 1. Like, because he doesn't know he has a bolt in hand, obviously. But
yeah, he discards a Field of Ruin. That's a good card to see your opponent discard. Gets rid of Goyf on Mike's side.
Do you just fire off the bolt? It looks like the Bloodbraid's gonna come down. Like, I mean, there's no Cryptic up. I guess you might be afraid of Logic Knot, but most blue-white controls aren't running that many Logic Knots.
Yeah, so he's just really, this line of play is really focusing on making sure that Jace dies.
Ooh.
Really brutal card to reveal here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Hey, my third Jace.
Don't look at him.
Although he did get a Brainstorm, so you can't Thoughtseize the top of his library, and top of his library is Terminus. Is that what is that third card? Is that a Celestial Purge, perhaps? That would have been used if it was.
As a no.
Can't be that.
I think he kept a Terminus.
Okay, so it's Terminus, Snap Jace?
I think.
Probably just take Jace.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Jace. Or Snapcaster Mage if you don't like Cryptics.
Yeah, he kept Terminus in hand.
Yep. So, question is, do I want to deal with another Jace the Mind Sculptor, or am I okay with Snapcaster Mage flashing back a Cryptic command?
I think I personally would take the Snapcaster Mage.
At this point in the game, when you...
Because so if your opponent plays Jace, like, you still have 5 power on the board. Like, you know your opponent doesn't have an answer.
I probably would have taken Jace, honestly. But Mike's playing to the board, and he knows that he wants to keep his board. Doesn't know about the Terminus on top, so he takes the.
Well, say because you put three at Jace and then 2 at him. Like if he plays Jace, he can't. Well, you cast Terminus, or we cast Terminus, you still have your 2 Planeswalkers.
Yeah, but he's allowing the Snapcaster Mage to save the Jace, although he has Lightning Bolt in hand. So if he goes to just no value, or flashback and opt, block with Snapcaster Mage, he gets to just bolt and still kill the Jace.
Yeah.
And second Bloodbraid Elf in hand is going to be a good follow-up to a Terminus. So he's just like, hey, before you block, I'm going to bolt that. That dies. And this line of play, which is really good line of play by Mike, actually allows him to deal with the Jace in play, the snap in hand.
Yeah.
And then just get blown out by the Terminus he didn't know was coming. But it's not really a true blowout. So.
But yeah.
Flashing back an opt, revealing his own Terminus, which is not.
I don't know. Good. I don't know why he would do that.
Probably didn't think about it. Just like, hey, I targeted op, I might as well just flash it back.
Yeah, I think I think that's probably gonna cost him the game.
Yeah. He can't hard cast it, but not being able to hard cast it and then.
Not being able to cast for the Miracle Cost and then be able to stick a Jace down.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and he scries it to the bottom, which is bizarre. I mean, it's still a good hard cast, but he's losing to those.
I say because like both Lilies are 1 away from ulting, so it's like put them in the bottom. But then what? Like then you have the 2 Lily Elves to deal with, which I think he just loses anyway.
Yeah. So now the other thing you can do right now is just animate my manland, attack you. You're at 5. Cross your fingers. Come on, Confidant. Right. Greatness at any cost, boy.
Well, what do you guys play at 5?
Nothing, but if the Bob flips anything decent, right?
Yeah.
If it flips anything, your next attack kills him.
That's true.
So.
All right.
Just put him down to 5.
All right.
See what you got there. See what you got.
All right.
Reveal.
Maelstrom Pulse. Ooh.
A miscut Maelstrom Pulse. It's miscut with a Tarmogoyf and his foil. Swag. Dreadbore looking especially bad. Sorcerer Speed against that manland. And he's like, well, shoot. I don't have any removal for your land there. And
I say, might as well make you just discard the card in your hand.
Yeah.
No, a card.
Have no removal for your land, and your land's just going to kill me. So how do I not die?
All right.
That's the question. The $1 million question.
Yep.
$25 question, because that's how much the PPTQ costs.
So second blood. I mean, you could
keeps Detention Sphere in hand because he needs to be able to clear up the board if this manland gets pushed. But,
so looks like Lily minus. I'm gonna guess try and get that Olivia.
Olivia blocks the flyer.
It does.
Tyler's tracker hitting the bin, gets back Olivia. Just like, hey, I got a blocker for your flying dude now. Do I get to kill you or are you gonna kill me? Who's dead here?
Olivia also kills the Bob from killing you.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, like, you could attack and then just Dreadbore your own Bob. I mean, that's not a terrible plan, but...
But shooting Olivia makes it so... Shooting with Olivia makes it so the Olivia trades with the manland, which is more important.
If your opponent gets a land...
Search for his Kanta. Too little, too late.
Well, I say if your opponent got a land, he'd be able to kill Mike because he could just D-sphere the Olivia, activate Colonnade, and attack.
Yes, that's true.
Ooh.
Search for his Kanta's half of a land, right?
I mean, it doesn't...
It's like a rampant growth, right?
Kind of.
A slow rampant growth that eventually wins you the game.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
I think the blue player is like, all right, like, let's try and D-sphere something so I can hope that Bob kills him. Yeah, so you can't... If you attack with Colonnade, he shoots the Bob, blocks, you trade, so there's really no point in doing that. So, if you Detention Sphere the Olivia, you're still dead to the power on board. Well, your opponent does have to see that play, though, as well. Yeah. Plus, he's got a Bloodbraid Elf in his hand. Right. I mean, so, that's hidden information. Yeah, but he's ultra, mega, super dead here. Well, I said if he D-spheres Olivia and the Jund player does not respond and lets Olivia get D-sphered, and Bob hits it too, then he's dead. Yes, so that's the best out you can play to right now. And I think that's the out that I would probably be playing to, personally. So, D-sphere that. Yep. Like, hold up, shoot my thing.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Right, but now it's like, okay, like, I'm at 5, he only has 3 power on the board.
Exactly, which makes this the best line of play possible. And you gotta cast that search, boy. It's gonna get discarded. Cast it, come on. It's just gonna get discarded. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, you could force the Lily, like, do you make me discard or do you ult?
Well, if Mike ults here, he's just gonna say, like, your man land or everything else.
Yeah.
Like, just ult to get rid of the man land. And I believe that's what he says. He's just like, manland or the rest of your permanents. Because that's what he dies to, and he's just trying to clean up his game.
Yep.
If you don't include the rest, there was like a judge question on this where Mike just said the manland or the rest of your lands. He didn't include the detention sphere or the search.
I think what they do is they say manland, the rest of your permanents.
Yeah,
is what they.
So it's just like phrasing.
Yes,
they might make him rephrase it or redo it, but BBE here, just like
All right, and good game. All right. So Jundin 2, a very long 2.
Very very long 2.
All right.